name is John Cunningham with C2 Freight Resources. We are a Hub Zone certified logistics company here in Houston, Alabama. We've been in business for over 20 years, working with the Department of Defense and the federal government, among many other customers. C2 is committed to truckload shipments along with less than truckload shipments across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Our high level of service is what keeps our customers coming back year after year. Our industry-leading transportation management software, along with our tracking software, allow our customers to know where their shipments are at any time, any day. In closing, C2 Freight looks forward to earning your trust and business through actions day in and day out. We know if given the opportunity, you'll be pleased with our service and communication.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
Good evening, race fans. From the virtual version of the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we're watching qualifying for the Richmar Florists Indianapolis 500 coming up a week from tonight here on the Elite Racing Channel. Good evening again, everyone. Mark Gillespie along with Rishav Kosley in the broadcast booth tonight. We're in the final few minutes or so of qualifying for the first 32 slots on the grid. Rish, let us know what's going on here with Robert Garcia.
Oh, yeah, Robert Garcia here making his, I want to say this is his second run of the night. We're seeing this from a few guys. So right now we've been in the stage of just throwing down lap times. The top 32 will then get locked into the field. So just trying to make sure that your car is in that top 32 before we head to the bump session to decide that final spot on the grid. For Robert Garcia right now, wasn't super happy with that first run that he did back at spot 17 in the order, so is now allowed for the track to cool down a little bit and is going for another run here. So Garcia now lined up 83rd, the 83rd car to run here tonight, or 83rd run that we've had here tonight. So he's trying to get his way into a safe position where he won't have to run again.
We've had guys on the track since 4:30 Eastern Time this afternoon. One of them is joining us now, Chad Frankenfield from the Elite Racing League. Chad, qualifying for this race is a lot different than our standard Friday night IndyCar runs. Explain how this is working tonight.
So basically what's happening is we have, I think we have about 50 plus drivers that have taken to the track, and essentially we take Indianapolis 500 qualifying and we try to condense it almost. So round 1 is a 1-hour session, which we actually extended the season because of the entries. The fastest 32 drivers after the 5-hour round 1, because they're going 4-lap average, one at a time. If they want to get back in line, their time gets withdrawn once they hit the track. So essentially, what they're doing right now. Sorry, we're trying to hear the lobby. Essentially, what's happening is these drivers are they're trying to get into that top 32 because that locks them into the race. So, and there's a couple different scenarios going on. So you have the top 32. You have the Fast 9, which are going to battle out for pole later tonight, and then you have guys trying to bump themselves into the field. So right now, everybody's trying to get into that top 32, which the fight's pretty interesting. It's definitely getting tighter and tighter. I mean, if you look at the timing and scoring, it's really ridiculous, actually, how close it is. So that's what's happening right now. Everybody's trying to get in that top 32, and then once this is over, everybody 33rd on back is going to get one final 4-lap average attempt, just like real-life IndyCar, and that's called the bumping round.
Explain how this is going to work for the drivers that want to pull their times out. They can get back in line. For instance, if you look at the top of the list, Sage Karam is listed as 5th right now, but he has his car back in line about 12, 13 cars back here. Explain how this works to get your car back in line, because you have two options, right?
So Yeah, so if a driver wants to get back in line, they just let me know and I add them. And essentially what happens is early in the session, I just automatically withdraw the time. So somebody like Sage, who's basically trying to increase his time to get a better draw on the Fast 9, what's going to happen is I won't withdraw his time now until he actually hits the track. So really what a lot of these guys are hoping for in the back part of the line for guys to wreck or, pull off the track. So as far as time goes, I think we're going to get at least Alec or AJ. But essentially that's how this is working right now. So a lot of guys are biting their nails for sure right now because that bumping ground is going to be really, really tight.
And we have 24 minutes left. Chad, we'll let you go. Thanks for the explanation, and we'll let you get back to running the lobby and keeping everybody happy and keeping everybody in line there. Thank you, Chad.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, Rish, right now we have Shane Coogan on the track. The time to beat just to make the Fast 33 is 39.742. It's an average of all 4 laps. And is he close?
Yeah, right now Shane Coogan tracking pretty well. That third time's about to go in, so 39.677, his 3-lap average. We see him sitting P11 right now, but typically you'll expect to have the car drop off a lot on this 4th lap. This is where things start to get a little bit more hairy, so this is, we won't realistically know where anybody's going to sit until the 4th lap is complete, as that can really change your run completely. So he's got one more corner to complete here, but right now tracking pretty well for Shane Coogan here to be at least inside this top 32. I don't think he's going to be challenging for a top 9 spot, but for Shane Coogan, I think he's going to be pretty safe with this run. Let's take a look as that gets finally updated. Should take just a few moments here as we have to get the times all manually entered here, and we'll switch over to the
39.691. That is fast enough.
Yeah, there you go. So Shane Coogan, perfectly fine right now, P13 in the running order. So yeah, really comfortable with that. Has to be happy with that. Obviously, just missing out on the Fast 9, but definitely not something to be upset about. Making the field here is going to be a tall order with over 50 drivers attempting to make this field.
And our next driver is a familiar face and name if you follow the real IndyCar Series, Stefan Wilson, who is being tipped as a potential 6th driver for Andretti Autosport in the coming month of May. We are waiting for confirmation on that. Right now he is on the track, and we are waiting to see if he can get his way into the top 32.
Yeah,
of course, his last race was 2018 at the 500.
Yeah, so obviously very familiar with this racetrack, but iRacing can be a completely different beast. We've already seen some of the guys who, real-life racing drivers struggling. I know Kyle Busch is one of the drivers, NASCAR champion, who's in contention to try and make the field here. He's, I think, had 2 runs already, but both of them have not gone to plan. Kyle Busch right now in line trying to make sure he's able to get in line there. His best time right now, 39.743, but he waved it off on his 3rd lap. So Kyle Busch right now sitting with no time on the board, hoping that he can make it into the field.
Stefan Wilson's first lap, 39.599. Clearly fast enough.
Yeah, good pace here from Stefan Wilson. Expect that first lap, though. That's a great first lap speed to have, but he will slowly keep falling here down the order just as that average lap time continues to go down. So we'll see as it updates for lap 2 where Stefan shows up and if he's going to drop behind our current pole setter, Caleb Bency, or our provisional pole setter, Caleb Bency.
Right. As of now, Stefan Wilson would be on the pole if the run ended now, but we still have a couple of laps left to go. Kyle Busch is about 7 drivers away. We also have Sage Karam in the line again, as we mentioned earlier. Alexander Vandersent, who is 4th in the MegaPlayer86.com IndyCar Series in the points standings. He is still on the bubble outside of the top 33.
Yeah, so there you go, Stefan Wilson. You can see him falling back a little bit. He's now dropped to P5. Just ahead, P6, just behind Sage Karam. But he still has this one last lap to run. I think Sage Karam has just finished his run.
No, that's Stefan Wilson.
Stefan Wilson, excuse me. Stefan Wilson, I think, this is his last lap of this run, I believe.
Let's watch as he crosses the line. We're just over 19 minutes left in qualifying.
And there we go. That should be fully updated. So Stephen Wilson sits P10, just misses out on the fast 9. Hayden Herman now takes to the track.
Herman is a driver we have not seen in the IndyCar Series on Friday nights this season so far.
Yeah, one of the one-off guys, I'm guessing, for the Indy 500. Obviously, you know, we're looking at typically we have 25 to 30 drivers on any given Friday night. Here we're looking at 50 drivers entered for this event. Only 33 will actually make the green flag next Friday night. Hayden Herman hoping that his one and only start in the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series this season will be in the Indy 500. But he's got some work to do to get to that position. We'll see how he fares in this number 54 car.
And it's not just as though any iRacing participant can sign up for this. You actually have to meet standards to get in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Elite Racing Leagues, they're very particular about drivers they allow in. They do a lot of scanning, making sure that you've been a clean driver in the past, making sure you're someone who's reliable, that people, you know, if you do show up for a single event, you know, the regulars feel comfortable enough racing around you. So they do some screens on that. Obviously, sometimes you do have some people slipping through in the sense that, you know, maybe they can be a little bit sketchy when you get side by side and things like that. But for the most part, all the guys go through a general screening process. Obviously, there's also the fact that there's paid entry fees for this race because there is a large prize pool for the Indy 500 itself. You know, all these guys, you have to be committed to this event and committed to run well to really show up.
But you have to have a certain level of iRacing license status too, right? You can't just buy a rig and show up.
I believe so, yeah.
Of course, drivers like Kyle Busch can, if they show up with a rig, they're going to get a chance to qualify. But even Kyle Busch has to qualify for this race.
Exactly. There's no guaranteed entries. There's never been guaranteed entries for the Indy 500. That's just not something that's done here. And you know, that's for me, that's fantastic. That's really cool to see, though, is
just like the real world.
Exactly. You know, so, you know, you have Kyle Busch. He's a massive name, obviously, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, trying to qualify into this race. He doesn't get special treatment just because he's a NASCAR Cup Series champion in real life. He still has to qualify just like everybody else here. So, you know, that's super, super exciting. I mean, that's what makes Indy 500 qualifying so intriguing, is that nobody is guaranteed anything. The track decides who those top 33 will be.
As it does in the real world. We're under 17 minutes now. After Hayden Herman finishes up, we have Joe Hutchings, Benjamin Combs, Jordan Owens, and David Westergreen, Dustin Dewar, and then Kyle Busch.
Yeah, so some pretty common names within the Elite Racing League coming up. Jordan Owens, David Westergreen, Dustin Dewar, all guys who frequently run in our NASCAR on our NASCAR side of things. So looking forward to seeing how those guys get along as they transfer over to the IndyCar. Is obviously a very different car, but Hayden Herman finishing up his final lap here. We'll see how he's going to do. Currently sits P29 in the running order. We're going to get that updated in just a second. And Hayden Herman is, I can't actually see him on the timing and scoring sheet. He might actually be, yeah, I believe he's just out here. We're going to scroll down. You can see there, Hayden Herman does not make the show.
37th fastest, so he did not make it.
And with how many cars we've got lined up right now, Hayden Herman might be bumped from the event. So that might be game over for that number 54 car.
Right, because we have far more cars lined up than we have time for, because when the clock reaches 0 up in your upper left screen at 15 minutes and 43 seconds from now, that's it. Whoever's the top 32 cars are locked in, and that last car will be on the bubble. Right now, it is Johnny Thomas on the provisional bubble, facing possible elimination depending on how things go.
Might be getting some word that there's actually a little bit more time left in the session than we initially believed. That might be a slight glitch in our timing and scoring, telling us that there's 15 minutes left in the session. I was seeing, I'm being told that there's still about 45 minutes or so left in the session.
Right. Okay, we are going until 9:30 Eastern time, right?
Yeah, so it appears that that the timer you see there on the top left is a glitch right now. That's not going to be, when those 15 minutes
Okay.
are up, that's actually not going to be the end of this session. I was a little bit surprised there as well at how close we were to the end of the session. But yeah, there's still quite a bit of qualifying still left to go here. So we're gonna wait here. A lot of drivers still yet to run.
Joe Hutchings is outside of the top 33 right now, averaging just over 40.6 seconds on his run so far. That will not be good enough by a long shot.
Yeah, you see there, fifth position, Joe Hutchings right now sitting at the back of the order, or at the very bottom of the order of all the guys who've run. Next up, Benjamin Combs in 46. He's one of the guys who hasn't or doesn't have a lap currently on the board yet. So Joe Hutchings hoping to find some speed here on laps on laps 3 and 4, but not looking too great for this number 93 car. And again, we're getting close to this point where, these cars don't deliver right now. If they're out right now, they're probably going to be in that bump section.
These are all similarly set up cars, correct? Can the drivers adjust settings before they leave the pits, other than the usual weight jackers and bars?
Yeah, so in terms of the base setup from pit lane, it's identical for every single driver. What they can adjust, like you said right there, is anti-roll bars, weight jacker, and there is definitely time to be gained by adjusting those and finding the right setup that works for you, finding the right balance, and being willing and able to adjust your car. Oh, as we see a big hit there for the 93
off the
of
inside
Joe
wall.
Hutchings.
That is Joe Thompson.
Joe Hutchings with a massive hit
Joe
there.
Hutchings, and he will not complete the run, but on his third lap, he was up to down to 39.76, which was still not fast enough, but it was a sign of it was a little bit better than his first 2 laps.
Yeah, the good thing about iRacing is that the cleanup is instant. There's no pause here to the running order now, and that means Benjamin Combs able to just drive straight out onto the racetrack, and it's all cleared up. But really unfortunate there for Joe Hutchings is that run gets waved off, crashed out on that 4th lap, just in the final corner as well, almost done with it, but not quite able to get there. And yeah, the car will definitely tighten up on you late into the run. You lose a lot of grip, and that's what I was talking about before that happened, is you've got to be on top of that weight jacker, on top of those anti-roll bars, to be ready to make those adjustments, because the car's going to change over the course of these 4 laps. What you launch out of the pit lane with is not going to be the same car that you cross the start-finish line with on your 4th lap.
And the drivers have had some practice time this week on the track, not a lot. And if you're a fairly busy person with a real life outside of iRacing, you don't have a lot of time to do this and put in a lot of time for practice. Benjamin Combs, first lap in at 39.72. That is barely within the limits.
Yep, that puts him P27 right now. But again, you're most likely looking at that first or second lap to be your fastest laps, and then 3 and 4 typically will fall off. That's generally the trend we're used to seeing here. It could change for some drivers. If he's getting comfortable with the car, he might get faster with each lap. We've seen that before as well. But not a reassuring start if you're Benjamin Combs. You want to be a little bit higher above that cut line on that first lap especially. The second lap is, once you keep averaging these laps together, you're going to keep kind of falling down the order from where you initially were. So Benjamin Combs, there you see, drops down right now into P36. So that second lap, not great. It was a 39.760, so lost time on that second lap. He's going to hope that lap 3 has some kind of gains for him if he wants to try and get his way into the top 32 here.
It almost looks like he was slowing down coming down the backstretch even.
Yeah, it's tricky to tell. Sometimes the camera angles can make it look like the cars aren't going too fast. Obviously, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is such a massive location. Even a 230-mile-an-hour Indy car can sometimes look a little bit slow with how far down this front straightaway it is. But right now seems to be on it. That mile-per-hour number doesn't seem to be going
a little
down.
bit. He picked up a little bit, 39.738. Just a tick faster.
Yeah, so that's his second fastest lap there. His first lap is still the fastest one he's put down here, but he's gonna need to put something down. It's not
fast enough.
Yeah,
He's still 35th.
I mean, we're talking 0.02 of a second though is what he's off from the 33rd position. He just needs to put together a good 4th lap here. A little bit tight off of turn 4. I'm not sure it's going to be here. Let's see what Benjamin Combs can do. Can he get his way into the top 32? Be safe. Going to update. No, he cannot. Benjamin Combs falls down to P40 now. 39.756.
16 one-thousandths of a second.
Yeah, I mean,
between
that's just how close
making
it is.
the race and not making it.
It's ridiculous just how close it is here on the racetrack. We're waiting, I think, on a car to start. Oh, we've got the number 45 here of Jordan Owens on the racetrack. He's about to start his first lap as the green flag is going to wave here. Jordan's run a couple of races here in the regular season, hoping to make the Indy 500 and add that to his resume here in the IndyCar Series. Has been progressing really well, I think, over the course of the season. One of these guys who's come over from the NASCAR side and is pretty new to these IndyCars, but he's slowly making progress, and it's really cool to see that and how much he's improved from that first race and all the way to the most recent ones we've run.
And just as Jimmy Johnson is finding out in the real world, these things are not as easy to drive as stock cars are, if you've been driving those for any length of time.
Yeah, generally it's, they're obviously two very different disciplines, but generally what you'll find is a stock car is so much more compliant. It's so much more forgiving of mistakes. You can make corrections mid-corner in a stock car and be totally fine. In fact, sometimes, being on that ragged edge, having the wheel sawing in your hand is sometimes the fastest way around a track in a stock car. In an Indy car, that's absolutely not the case. You are single input into the corner steering-wise, and if you get that single input wrong, you're going to be in the wall or you're going to be really slow. It's so unforgiving in these cars because you're traveling at such a high speed. You can't make those small adjustments on the fly. You really have to throw it in, be confident in your steering angle, be confident in your throttle input. Everything that you do, and that one input is going to send you through each corner here. You can't make adjustments mid-corner.
It looks like Jordan Owens he's in the top 9 so far, running 9th on the tracker.
Yeah, really good first 2 laps here for Jordan Owens, 39.665 his first 2 laps. So there you see him P9 right now. Looks like he should be, as long as these next 2 laps are good for him, he should be relatively safe inside the top 32. Let's see if he can pick up a little bit of pace or maintain the current average he's got to try and get his way into this Fast 9 shootout.
Lap 3 is now complete. As he heads into turn 1, takes that familiar line out near the wall in the short chute, heading into 2.
Yep, down to P13 right now, 39.685. So lost a little bit of time, as you'd expect. The progression we're seeing from lap to lap is exactly what you expected to see here. Really good first lap. Big drop-off to the second lap, a minor drop-off between second and third, and then we'll see how this fourth lap fares.
But it's a good showing for Jordan Owens as he comes down to complete his qualifying run, locking himself in for next Friday night's Indianapolis 500, presented by Richmar Florists.
Yep.
We're waiting for the final time here. 39.692.
P15, he should be extremely happy with that. That's certainly, I mean, not certainly, but should almost certainly lock him into the show.
That's a solid run.
That's a very solid run. Really impressive drive there by Jordan Owens.
Next up, hitting the track, David Westergreen.
All right, David, let's go. My counterpart on Wednesday nights when we do the Cup Series races. This is his first IndyCar start. Thought he'd give this a shot, and you're walking in here with one of the hardest racetracks to drive, one of the hardest cars to drive here on iRacing. David Westergreen, let's see what times he can put down in his very first start here in IndyCar.
And there's a multiple Cup-winning champion, 2 cars behind you waiting in line for you to get off the track.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, there's a lot of pressure on all these drivers, especially this late in the show where you've really got this one opportunity to get the run in. You can see him conservative off of turn 4 on the first lap, and that's just fine. As long as you're carrying a reasonable amount of speed, you can be pretty safe with your runs here. Let's see what that first lap is for.
39.6.
All right, so 39.6 for David Westergreen puts him P6 right now. That's a very solid first lap right there. We saw it with Jordan Owens, a very similar pace there. Slightly slower than Owens, but again, I think if David Westergreen puts in a 4-lap average inside the top 20, that's an effort to be extremely proud of. Still a long way to go here, though.
And the track is cooling down just a little bit as it gets later in the session, and that's helping with the speeds.
Absolutely. We actually see, we're looking at the run order, which we don't have on the screen, but there's a lot of guys who are inside the top 9 or close to the top 9 who are making the call to go for another run, and that's purely because, they want to improve that position in the pole shootout because the track temperature is so low right now. The conditions are ideal as we get close to the gun going off. This is the exact time you want to take your car out on the racetrack. Earlier in the afternoon, it was hot, it was slick, you were really hanging on for dear life. Now, the car's going to handle a heck of a lot better than what it was before.
Westergain holding steady at P13.
Yep.
The second lap was slower, 39.736, coming down to complete lap number 3.
Yeah, I mean, a really standard drop-off here for Westergain again. About a tenth from lap 1 to lap 2, tenth of a second, which is what we expect. It's going to be how he manages lap 3 and lap 4 that decide. So again, another 10th drop off there.
It's slower still.
So let's see, where's he sitting right now? So P28. So again, he's got to kind of definitely deliver on this 4th lap. You can tell he's
got to
losing
get
grip.
the giddy up and go here.
Yeah, absolutely. So David, come on, man. Here, 2 more corners to go around Indianapolis. You can see him running a little bit of a higher line there, so that might be scrubbing a little bit of time off, but playing it safe there, making sure he doesn't put the car in the wall, and he's going to come across the line. We'll see, though, if he might have played it just a little bit too safe. Can David Westergain lock himself into the show? Waiting that update to show up, and Westergain sits in P33 right now. He is going to the bump round.
He is on the bubble, though.
Yeah, well, so
he'll be on that bump round, yeah, but
yeah, so
he's on the bubble for not making the top 32 at all.
Exactly. So not going to be in the top 32, not going to be guaranteed locked into the race here, but does have a shot, obviously, to compete. And right now sits as the top of those bubble drivers. But again, some pretty impressive drivers still to come in the order. So Westergain hoping that he can potentially keep that, stay relatively close to that bubble and be the guy to make it, to advance through the bumping round. But Dustin Dewar now in this number 52 car trying to make his way into the show. Again, another one of our Cup Series and all NASCAR Series regulars here. Let's see what kind of time he can put. Very shallow off of turn 4, but setting himself up for that first lap.
Let's see what the speed is. 39.634.
So you see Dustin Dewar sitting in 4th position right now. So a good first lap from Dustin Dewar, slightly faster than what David Westergain's first lap is. So if you want to do, a direct comparison there, that's obviously positive for him with Westergain sitting on the bubble right now, or actually just outside the bubble. But obviously such close margins that it's going to be tricky to differentiate yourself that much. Let's see, though, how Dustin Dewar progresses through the next 2 laps now as he's about to cross the line, marking the halfway point in this qualifying mode.
Taking the line down into turn 1, 39.701.
That's a really good second lap, actually, for Dustin Dewar. That does drop him down the order a little bit to P9, but importantly, the drop-off from lap 1 to 2 was not as severe as we've seen from most of the drivers in the past couple of runs here. For Dustin Dewar, that's an exceptional second lap here. Let's see if he can, again, keep this momentum, keep this consistency up over the course of the 4 laps. There is going to be some drop-off, but right now sitting in a pretty comfortable position in P9.
Completing the 3rd lap, 1 left to go. 39.727, just a little bit slower, down to P13 now.
1 more lap for Dustin Dewar here. Looking pretty good so far. Just needs to keep it on the racetrack, keep it clean here. He can be a little bit conservative with this 4th lap here. He's got that buffer zone. So let's see what he decides to do.
Entering turn 4, coming down to take the checkered flag.
Oh!
He's into the wall.
So close for Dustin
But he will
Dewar.
cross the line.
I applaud the effort there from Dustin Dewar to put in that final lap time there, but man, he was so close. He was putting in such a great run there as well, just clobbered the wall there at the very end, and we've seen that from a lot of drivers there. 40.229 the average falls down to. He's way out, and well, it's Kyle Busch now, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, taking to the racetrack here. What can he do? He waived his earlier run. He's hoping to make the show here with this second run.
as he takes the green flag. Gee, I wonder how much trouble he had finding sponsorship for this one.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this is the same car he's run in the IndyCar Invitational Series that they ran back in 2020, and he took part in some of those events. Pretty familiar.
Of course, Rowdy is his own personal brand of energy drinks.
Oh, yeah. So pretty easy to to find sponsorship when you are your own sponsor.
He's taking a little bit lower line, getting down below the line.
Yeah, he is. So again, that's going to help the rotation of the car. That's going to, the big thing is it's going to help the rotation of the car. It can possibly give you a faster lap time. It is more risky, of course.
39.5. That puts him on the pole right now.
Very good first lap there. Exceptional first lap by Kyle Busch. I think one of the fastest lap ones we've seen so far. Henry Bennett, Caleb Bensley, Adriano Pinheiro all had some very good first laps, but have kind of fell off a little bit towards the end. We want to see how this compares to those. You look at Caleb Bensley, his first lap was a 39.551. So Kyle Busch right now seemingly on track to be a top 9 competitor, but let's see how these next few runs go. We saw with Dustin Dewar just how quickly this can fall apart.
Halfway home as lap 2 is in. Let's see, 39.652. Still fast. He drops down to second now.
Yeah.
Down to P2. Just a little bit slower, but still in the fast 9.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And it's, again, there's almost kind of this idea for Kyle Busch now is, kind of preserve the car maybe just a little bit here and make it to the end. You've got, again, like I was saying with Dustin Dewar, you've got a big buffer to work with. I'm sure he'd love to make this fast 9 shootout here, and it's going to depend on what this third lap is, just how quick he is to kind of decide just how, just how aggressive he's going to go on this third lap here. So let's take a look and see.
1 to go. 39.690.
Yeah, so Kyle Busch P6 right now. He might go for it here, knowing that he's got a shot at this pole shootout. He's going to have to be aggressive if he wants to make it in, but that also comes with the risk. We've seen a number of drivers recently losing it in Turn 4, and it is not over until you have straightened the steering wheel out of Turn 4 and are running down to the bricks.
And not along the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Kyle Busch coming down to complete his run.
Nice clean Turn 4. He's going to make it through. Let's see, can he make it into the top 9 and contend for pole?
39.658.
Just
P8.
There's a lot of cars to go here still. There's a lot of very fast cars still to go here, but as it stands right now, Kyle Busch, P8 on the list. He's going to be in the show, guaranteed. It's just a matter of will he be contending for a pole later tonight.
Adam Pelk is on the track now. Another one of the one-off entries, not normally in the series on Friday nights.
Yep, so we'll see kind of how Adam Pelk, how he runs here tonight, driving that number 48 Carvana schemed car, the Jimmy Johnson road course paint scheme. Ooh, that's a very high line through Turn 2. Ooh. Certainly going to scrub off some speed there, and actually through, I think, 219 down off of Turn 2. I don't have great feelings about this first lap here, and you can see here again, another really wide line. He gets down below, gets down to the apron there at Turn 3.
Wiggle there in the short shoot.
Yeah, so this first lap here for Adam Pelk might not be superb. Let's see if he can recover it, though. We'll take a look, though, and see exactly what the time comes out to. My guess is it's going to be a low 40 based on just that Turn 2 right there. And
pretty good guess.
40.232, so you can see right there. Adam Pelk now sitting in 50th spot right now, bottom of our current timing screens. He's got some work to do to improve that time there, but that mistake on the first lap going to be hard to recover from. He's taking this high entry, which is, it gives you a reasonable exit here, and you can carry some good speed off the corner, but if you miss that turn in by an inch, you see what happened to him in Turn 2, and you miss the entire corner by a huge amount. So, again, these are precision cars. You have to drive them extremely precisely. He's taking a risk with these wide entries. We saw with Kyle Busch the shallower entries to the corners and how well that worked for him. There are different lines that can be successful here, but right there, again, fail to really get close to that white line, and that you're going to struggle to find lap time around here by doing that. I think his second lap, we're waiting for that to come in here. in just a second to see how that came out.
Much better this time, 39.9.
Yeah, but he's still sitting at
It's still way outside, but significantly improved over the last time.
Absolutely,
over the first lap.
Massive improvement there. That's what you obviously want to see. He, learning from that first lap. I struggle on his behalf though to see if he's going to be able to recover. He's going to have to put in a monstrous fourth lap here, as we're waiting for the third lap to be counted in here on timing and scoring.
The delays here in timing and scoring remind me of the old days at Indianapolis when you would get the timing and scoring report from the one and only Tom Carnegie as the driver was hitting turn 3 because it would take that long to get it in. It's a bit faster, 39.881. Still not great, but improvement on each of these laps.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. So the fourth lap complete here for Adam Pelk. He's going to bring it, I believe, down to, there you go. Backs off. 39.976 is the lap time there at the end. And for Adam Pelk, no better than 48th spot on the grid. So unfortunate for him. Going to be in that bump round.
Here's Crone, former Road to Indy driver, broadcaster, driver agent, driver coach, a little of everything in motorsports over the last few years, is on the track now, and as well as an iRacing competitor and an iRacing regular in the IndyCar Series. Let's watch as he comes down to take the green flag. I believe he's got a Menards livery. Is that correct, Rich?
I'm not sure. I think it's the old Jordan Formula One team.
Okay.
Benson Hedges, I believe it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or Buzz and Hornets, as they used to run at Indianapolis back in the day.
Absolutely here. So Anders Crone.
39.6 the first lap.
Very solid first lap there. Puts him inside that, let me just scroll up here, but puts him inside that top 9, but obviously first lap, not always the most telling there. It's a solid way to start your run, but need to maintain that speed over the course of this run. Falls down to 6th with that second lap being averaged in there. 39.664 is his current speed average.
Halfway home, heading into turn 3 on lap 3. If you watch this in real life, you will not believe how close these drivers get to that outside wall at the short chutes at each end. Just literally inches off the wall.
Oh, I'm sure. It must be absolutely ridiculous in terms of, taking, it's funny. I was speaking with one of our...
It's another consistent lap, 39.677, still in 8th place.
Yeah, very good there for Anders Crone there, not losing a ton of time there on his average, but yeah,
But look at this. Kyle Busch, if Crone holds this up, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
if Crone maintains this, Kyle Busch is going to be on the bubble for the Fast 9.
That's a great point there, and he's actually...
Sage Karam is down there lurking in line.
Yeah, Sage Karam lurking in line. He's trying to improve his
who's
position.
already in the Fast 9. But,
yeah, he's trying to, I think, improve his run order in that Fast 9 here, but Anders Crone going to finish up that run here. Let's see where exactly he's going to sit.
39.666.
Where does that put him?
10th.
So just outside the top 9 there, 6,000ths outside of the Fast 9.
And that keeps Kyle Busch safely in 8th place right now.
Yep. So Kyle Busch and Brian Blauman, the two guys, kind of nervously watching every single run that's going on here to see if they're going to remain inside this Fast 9 shootout. Again, still some strong cars yet to go. Alexander Van de Sant, the one that really stands out to me. He's sitting P29 right now, did not have a great first run. Hoping to improve that position, and we know Van de Sant can be very, very strong in
And he's
these
up
Indy
in
cars.
a couple of drivers from now. Right now, Alec Balvance is on the track. And we should point out that Thales Toledo is on the bubble right now in 32nd position.
Absolutely. So we're actually joined here, we will be joined by Adam Pelk, who made that run just a little bit earlier on. We'll bring him up into the booth with us here. Adam, man, unfortunate with that run there. Didn't really quite pan out to how you were hoping. Realistically, I think laps 2, 3, and 4. Looks like we actually lost
He's back
Adam.
in the waiting room. We'll bring him back in.
Yep. Adam Pelk, you got a copy?
Yep. I can hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep.
We can hear you, and you scared the bejesus out of us on that first lap going into 1 and 2.
I got
Oh. Adam Pelk, you got a copy?
Yep, sorry.
All right, no worries. Yeah, man, I mean, talk us through that run there. Definitely that lap 1 looked a little bit hairy, especially through turn 2. Utilizing that wide entry line around this racetrack can sometimes be pretty detrimental, as we kind of saw there. Really was, unfortunately, missed that apex in turn 2 and lost you a ton of time on that first lap.
Yeah, the car just washed up a little bit. I wasn't expecting it to. My friend Chad Thornquist, who I've known in another league that we both run in, he was watching my run, and he told me that I got washed up in that 1 lap. So we're gonna try and switch to the A2 steering pinion, and hopefully I can hook onto the white line more in the corners.
Now talk to us about, for the viewers at home who might not be familiar with iRacing as a whole, what does changing that steering pinion do for you? How does that change the handling of the car, the way it drives?
Definitely the track evolution. As you make more laps, it definitely changes the grip of the tires. So you definitely want to make sure you have a good height up on the track, on the straightaways, close to the wall, so you can dip into the corner and get a good groove, basically, because if you hit that groove wrong, I'm just going to reference to 2012 when Takuma Sato did that same thing. He spun and hit the wall hard in turn 1, so if you just hit it wrong, you are definitely going to crash for sure.
Not to interrupt, but we should note that Alec Balvans put the car into the field 28th in a good solid position there, and AJ Musselman is on the track right now.
Yes, sir. Well, Adam, best of luck in the bumping round. Looks like that might be where you're heading with so many cars left in line ahead of you. Obviously, 1 car still advances there, so you've got 1 last shot at it. Best of luck, hoping those changes work out for you, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tight, but we are going to see what we can do in our Frontside Esports team. So thank you guys for the interview, and hopefully I can make it through.
All right,
Good
man.
luck.
Best of luck. That was Adam Pelk there, qualified right now in the, a little bit further down here. Outside of the top 33, or outside of the top 32, so we'll be going on to that bumping round. But yeah, P48 right now as these guys continue to run. So Adam Pelk, not the run he was hoping for, but has some changes in mind, working with teammates to make sure he's got a shot here as we head to the bumping round after this.
Musselman coming down to complete the first lap. First lap score timing in 39.631. That puts him provisionally 3rd. Second lap time coming. A bit slower, but not by much. 39.704.
Yep, so currently
that drops him to 11th.
Yep, P11 for AJ Musselman. So again, you're going to keep seeing a little bit of drop off here lap after lap, but again, if he can keep that car inside that top 20, that's a successful run here for this number 2 car.
Brendan Madonia is on the bubble right now in 32nd position. The time to beat is 39.733, the average for 4 laps. Musselman still fast enough.
6.88 is the time, P15. So again, very minor drop off from lap to lap. This is impressive from AJ Musselman in that he's, over the course of 3 laps, it's taken him that long to drop just under a tenth. Most of the time we see drivers dropping just under a tenth in the first, from lap 1 to 2. So really consistent run right here for Adrian Musselman off of turn 4. Going to finish this up. Should be comfortably into the field here.
As he crosses the line, let's check the time. The 4-lap average, 39.704. That is good for
P22.
Not bad.
Not bad at all, yeah, especially with...
And that knocks Thales Toledo down. Brendan Madonia remains on the bubble.
And the number 97 here, Alexander Van de Sant, one of our regular season drivers, P4, I believe, in the full season champion here. Going for his second run, I believe, of the night. Second or third run, possibly even. It's, I believe, his third run. Yep.
As he comes down to take the green flag. Doing 2:32 as he heads into turn 1.
Good pace there through the short chute. Dropped down to about
39.611 is the first lap speed.
Yeah, so very solid there. First lap speed from Alexander Van de Sant, hoping that that he can carry this speed to get him into the Fast 9 shootout. At the very least, improve his starting position from, I believe it was 28th before he came out and made this run.
Halfway home.
Take a look what the time is going to be here for lap 2. It's going to be a 39.657. So again, fairly consistent there, about half a tenth drop off. That's really what you want to see from lap 1 and 2.
And that puts him provisionally 4th on the grid.
Finishing
Coming
up
down to complete lap number 3.
Across the yard of bricks, and he's got one more lap here. No more mistakes for Alexander Van de Sant. That's a 39.685, brings his average to 6.51. Currently sits in the 8th position. We bump Ryan Blauman out of the top 9 if he stays in that spot. We'll see how this 4th lap pans out.
I have noticed that these guys are not taking the lower line down the straightaways that the drivers in the Real World Series do. I wonder if that might make a difference.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, exactly what, because I know in real life that's typically to, I believe, reduce your rolling resistance. As the cars are typically towed a little bit differently. As Van de Sant does finish his run, we're going to get that time slotted in here any second now.
Charles Teed is next up on the track.
6.72, so again, P11 just misses out on that.
And Brian Blauman is safe in the top 9 for now.
Yeah, Blauman breathing a sigh of relief again here. Who are we waiting for? The number 72 car, Charles Teed, out on the racetrack, and he's going to start his first lap here right now. But there's no towing on the cars there that force them to really track in to reduce rolling resistance. That's, I think, primarily why they do it in real life. In iRacing, I think, thankfully, you're not gaining, I think, a ton of time by doing that.
As he comes down into turn 3. A little farther off the wall than other drivers have been taking.
Still carried some pretty good speed there through the short chute. Dipped down to 225 off of turn 4 there. We'll see as he crosses the line. Should get up to maybe 232. Yeah, 232 here on the front straightaway. First lap, 39.599.
Not bad.
Yeah.
One of our faster laps so far.
Absolutely, yeah. Really good first lap there for Charles Teed, and that puts you certainly in contention for consideration for the Fast 9, I think. Especially when you consider, Van de Sant's first lap was a 6.11, and he was P11. So very good first lap here for one of our one-off drivers, making his first start this year in the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series.
Halfway home. As he crosses the yard of bricks, let's see what the time is. $39,628.
This is P3.
That's good for P3 so far.
Yeah, really good, really consistent. Again, we're looking at half a second off, and I think this might be the track temperature starting to come into play for these guys, where you're not wearing through those tires just as quickly as they might have done when it was hotter out. So that's exactly what we're seeing here. This track temp continues to go down. These cars get a little bit easier to drive. They're wearing their tires, more slowly, and they're maintaining lap time over the course of the 4 laps.
We have just under 10 minutes left before the 9:30 end of round 1 qualifying.
Yep, I believe we've got
Charles T down to a P11 now.
Yep, that 3rd lap, definitely a bit of a drop-off there from the 2nd lap, so not quite on the same level as those first 2 laps. Maybe used up a little bit of his stuff a little bit too quickly, but should, again, be one of those guys who's pretty comfortably in the show here. We'll see once again as this gets updated. There you go, 39.751 the final lap, so it's a 39.688. Where does that put him in the order? P16.
P16.
61.
Thomas Geisler, one of our regulars.
And we're getting down to it. You see there, 38 minutes left on the clock. When that clock hits 30 minutes left, that will be the last. That's the last time a locked-in driver, that's the last time a non-bumping round driver will be able to make their run. After that, we begin the bumping round with 30 minutes to go in this session. So that's
so
when things start to
pretend
get
that
serious.
3 isn't there for right now. We have 8 minutes left, and the best challenge I think for anybody to improve on that fast 9 is Sage Karam, who's 3 cars away. Not sure if he's going to get there or not.
Yeah, not sure if we're going to get to Sage Karam. It'll be interesting to see if we do, as Geisler makes his run and finishes that 39.614. So he's got some pace here in this 11 car. But Karam, I mean, it's obviously a massive risk, right, for Sage Karam to go out there and if you make one mistake, I mean, you could be in the bumping round. Is exactly what it is. He, to sit there and be, P6, I'm not happy with that. That's that's definitely a massive
There's
risk.
times when you just take the chances and view the risk reward a little more carefully. In that case.
Yeah, exactly.
39.614 the first lap. Let's see what the second one is. 39.675 puts him P6. As he comes down the backstretch on lap number 3.
Absolutely. Here we go. Let's see what Geisler can do. Again, down to about 2.24 off of turn 4, so a little bit slower off of the corner here, but if he can maintain the speed over the course of the lap, the average lap time, that's all that really matters there, and that time is going to drop to a 6.58 here. So where does that throw him? That's P9, P8, P9, tied with Kyle Busch right now, but one more lap for Thomas Geisler might just knock him out of that top 9.
Well, no, it would knock Blauman out. Busch is still 9th.
Well, I'm saying I'm expecting him to drop off a little bit on this final lap and sits right now 2 thousandths in front of Blauman. And if he can slot in front of Anders Krohn, that'd be impressive here with how the drop-off's been from lap to lap. My guess is, look, P14 around is where we'll expect to see Thomas Geisler land. And let's take a look. 6, 7, 7, 15. So, thousandth off.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can get it that close, I'm taking you down to Churchill tomorrow. We can go play some horses. If you're that good with horses as you are with 4 wheels.
Oh, I hope so. But Michael Robinson now taking to the racetrack in the number 09 here. Not sure what exactly is going on here. I'm going to take a look as our tracker appears to be off on this 54 car as he's not at all up to speed.
He's doing about 219.
Oh, and he is going to back out of this run there.
Oh, he didn't more than just back. Oh! He drove out of it and went right into the inner wall on turn 3 and then into the outer wall again.
Yeah, so that's
That opens it up for Michael Goodman to take the track.
and Goodman looking to try and make something work here. Pete sits P52 right now. Obviously that time got deleted, but didn't have a great first run there. Was down in the lower 40s. So
this is going to cut it close for Sage Karam because he is next in line.
Michael Goodman there. I'm curious actually what the.
That's the second major issue we've had in 2 drivers now.
Yeah, that's a strange one there because, you know, I don't know how iRacing treats that, and I know we have some manual, we have the ability to kind of, no, Michael Goodman having to stop his run there because he had that poor exit to pit road. I think that means he's not allowed to make the run. You're expected to use the full apron exiting pit road, and Michael Goodman will not make his run, which means
that opens the door. Will Sage Karam go?
Waiting to see here. No cars currently rolling off pit road just yet. There is now one. Sage Karam is the car rolling off.
And so that means Sage Karam is going to try to improve on his original 6th time, fastest time in the Fast 9 to see if he can improve on that at all. That's going to be tough, especially if we don't know why the drivers are having all these problems, the last 2 drivers in the same spot.
Yeah, that's really curious there. Just wasn't able to. I think Michael Goodman's was coming off of pit road that he had the issue. Not quite sure about the car before him and how that all kind of transpired. But, yeah, obviously 2 very unfortunate runs there. And if you're Sage Karam, you're sitting next in line here with a guaranteed spot right now. That certainly makes you a little bit nervous. But, again, Karam, he's run this race in real life a number of times before. Certainly knows how to get himself into the show at the wire. And that's exactly
and
where
he
he's
is
at
on
right
track
now.
to do it again this year with Dreyer and Reinbold racing.
Absolutely, yeah.
24 car in real life.
So Karam, let's see what he can do on this first lap here. What kind of speed
Now
can he carry?
watch how Karam comes down lower on the backstretch, on the straightaways, because he's taking the real world IndyCar line. And let's see if that makes a difference.
Let's take a look for sure here and see if we can get a good angle on that. So here comes Sage Karam.
Leading lap 1.
He's going to track a little bit towards the inside, but I don't think it gets quite as close to the inside wall as they typically do in real life. Oh, and there you go. Wow, what a lap time. 39.499, the fastest single lap speed we've seen all night. By a huge margin. The next fastest lap time was a 39.535, lap 1 by Adriano Pinheiro. That was the previous fast lap of this session. That is a huge speed from Sage Karam on lap 1 here.
Let's see if he can keep it in play and keep consistent. Coming down to complete lap number 2. Halfway to the checkered flag. Across the yard of bricks. Let's see what the time is. 39.577, still on the provisional pole in the Fast 9.
Yeah, Sage Karam really trying to go in. Again, and we're talking about ideal track conditions right now for Sage Karam. This is the perfect opportunity, and this is what he's setting himself up to do, is be the last guy to run for pole when the track is at its absolute best. He's got a long way to go here, though, as he's going to round turn 4 here and be ready for one more lap as he crosses the line, but it can go wrong so quickly. We've seen so many times before, but Sage Karam right now putting on a masterclass here in Indy 500 qualifying.
Lap 3 complete, and we should point out, Sage does a lot of iRacing as well as real world racing, so he's an expert in both. 39.626, the slowest so far, but it's still good enough to be number 1 in the Fast 9.
Yeah, the drop-off hasn't been that big at all for Sage Karam. It's been pretty consistent with what we've been seeing from a lot of drivers, but that first lap speed being so immense means that he's right now absolutely in contention for this, this provisional pole here, and to be the last guy to run in the pole session. Here we go, out of turn 4, and he's going to cross the line. We're going to wait for this update to come in here from Timing and Scoring. But what can Sage Karam do? I'm not quite sure that time is accurate.
That hasn't been added. 39.425 is still the with the three laps. Here comes the 4th lap.
39.587. He is on provisional pole.
Almost a tenth of a second fast. About maybe just a tick of the clock faster than Caleb Bensi. Let's just put it that way. Stephen Ellis will probably be our last qualifier will be our last attempt before the bumping round begins, as we are down to 30 minutes left. It is now 9:30, and that's the end of qualifying once this run is ended.
Yep, we will be heading to the bump round after this. So, yeah, Stephen Ellis, the final driver to run and try and lock himself into the show. That means that Julian Altena and Up are all locked into this event. As it stands right now, Brian Blauman and Up are all locked into the pole race. We'll see what Stephen Ellis can do, who he can move out of the show. Can he move AJ Hobson into the bump round?
Coming down to complete lap number 1. Let's see if it's fast enough, or lap 2 rather.
Currently sits P12. Fall back a couple of spots, P19 right now. So let's take a look. Excuse me. So AJ Hobson is guaranteed in right now. So AJ
Alec
Hobson
Belvans is on the bubble.
Yeah,
Would
Alec
be the
Belvans.
33rd.
Yeah.
Coming down to complete lap number 3. As he crosses the yard of bricks, flies down into turn 1. Let's wait for the time. 30, it's fast, not much fast, just a little tick slower, 39.807. Still good enough.
One more lap here to put it in, and what can Stephen Ellis do?
Oh, no, wait a second. I'm sorry. He's 34th right now. That was too slow. He is not going to make it, it looks like.
Let's see what this final lap is for Stephen Ellis. It's going to be close.
39.727. He does not make it. 34th fastest.
Ooh.
That means Alec Balvans is locked in.
Yep. So there you go. 32nd on Up. Alec Balvans just makes it into the show there. And there you see, 32nd on Up. All of those guys will be racing in the 7th running of the Elite Indy 500 presented by Richmar Florist. And we now head to the bumping round. So this is where the focus shifts to 34th on back. And if we just scoot this here, I'm going to try and shift over to our new document that's going to have all of our bumping times open. Going to take a second here before we get all of this.
Getting everyone lined up here. Michael Goodman should be the first in line.
So here we go. Oh, gonna wait for timing and scoring to update here as they throw the drivers in line.
Stand corrected. Gil Ribeiro will be the first in line, followed by Michael Goodman.
Yes, sir. So let's give me a second here. Make sure we get all of that right about where we expect it to be. So let's take a look here. We're gonna make some adjustments to this. Apologize.
Remember,
for
every driver that did not make it gets one crack, one 4-lap try. You don't get to wave it off. You don't get to withdraw it, and you don't get to take a second shot at it. If you make a mistake, you're going home, and you won't be racing next Friday night. So let's see what happens now with our leaders as we get ready to go with Gil Ribeiro on the track.
Yes, sir. Just making sure we've got all of this information for our drivers appearing here on the screen. And it is a smaller order, or excuse me, we're going to take a few seconds here to get this set up.
The miracle of Google Docs.
It is an exceptional time here trying to get this all set up. So give me just a split second here while we get this all set up. We are going to switch over to, I don't believe we actually have any cars on track yet, so while we wait to get that all set up.
I saw Gil head out on track.
I'm not seeing anybody on our tracker currently. But let's go take a look. What is the...
Here he is. Here comes Gil down into turn 1 right now.
All right, up there he is, number 55 car. He was not showing on the tracker, so Gil Ribeiro is going to start his bumping around here. We'll show that, and while we get timing and scoring up and running for you guys.
Ribeiro heading down, and looks like he took a lesson from watching Sage Karam as he heads down the backstretch and takes that lower line down the back straightaway, coming down to complete lap number 1. Entering turn 4. 1 spot left in the grid for next Friday night's 500. The fastest driver will take it, so Gil will set the pace for everybody else in the field and set that bar for everyone to see where we're going to wind up.
We are now finally set to go there with the Google Doc. Again, want to go ahead and congratulate all the guys who made it in as we are having Gil Ribeiro run. But that's, start with our top 9. Sage Karam, Caleb Bensi, Henry Bennett, Adriano Pinheiro, Chad Frankenfield, Nick DeGroot, Eric Triano, Kyle Busch, and Brian Blauman. Those guys will be fighting for a pole later tonight. As, a little bit of netcode,
Ribeiro
I think that
clipped
was.
the wall.
Possibly clipping the wall, possibly some netcode there. It didn't look like he got super close to the exit of turn 4 there. But we saw the sparks for sure. Moving on to the guys who are in the top 20, though. Anders Krohn, Alexander Vandesent, Victor Del Porto, Stefan Wilson, Justin Fortner, Thomas Geisler, Ryan Schuld, Charles T., Jared Rexing, Shane Coogan, and Jordan Owens wrap up your top 20. Chad Thornquist, Tristan Wood, Hunter Smith, Presley Sora, AJ Musselman, Matt Houston, Dakota Demaigd, Chris Wilhite, Craig Forsyth, Julian Altena, AJ Hobson, and Alec Balvans, all guaranteed entry in next week's Indy 500.
And we have 20 drivers going for that last spot. Gil Ribeiro setting the pace right now, averaging 39.718.
Yes, sir. A reminder that the cutoff time was, in fact, the 33rd fastest average lap time was a 39.718 by Marshall Stanley in the regular session. So that's just a general number to understand there and general number to work with. But yeah, man, oh man, it's going to be close here for all of these guys.
And here comes Ribeiro to complete his run. Michael Goodman will take the track next.
So there we go. Gil Ribeiro finishes with a 39.760. We'll head over to Michael Goodman as he's now about to take the green flag.
Ribeiro goes from being first out to automatically being on the bubble at the end of his run. Goodman taking a high line out of 2.
Yeah, definitely a high line there for this 44 car. Let's see what he's able to do. Wasn't able to get that final run in there, and you see not quite able to get down to that white line, and very, very skittish there in the short shoot between 3 and 4.
See what the first lap looks like.
First run's going to be a...
Still waiting. 39.875. Not fast enough.
Yeah, not quite there for Michael Goodman.
He needs to get just a little bit more than 1/10 of a second faster for the average for 4 laps. Coming down to complete lap number 2.
Lap number 2 is in, and it is a 39 points. Waiting on that actually to show up here. .767. So faster on that second lap, getting closer to Joe Ribeiro, but still going to have to put in some impressive laps 3 and 4. Let's see how lap 3 comes out here. Michael Goodman, again, very shallow off of turn 4 here. Might be scrubbing some speed off there, but keeping it off the wall, keeping it safe isn't going to be enough, though. Ooh, and into the wall. Out of turn 1.
Oh, boy.
Michael Goodman is bumped. The first driver bumped from this Indy 500. Next up is Joe Hutchings rolling down pit road. In regular qualifying, Hutchings put down a... actually, I don't believe he put down a time at all. This might be his first run of the night, so might have missed.
No, he did. Remember, he crashed.
You were correct. So Joe Hutchings with no time down. So that's exactly why he's not showing up on my timing screens.
Right. He had that crash coming out of 4 when he was about to finish his first run. Finish his run.
Yes, sir.
So he comes down, takes the green flag.
Oh, that is close to the wall out of turn 1 there for Joe Hutchings.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can tell he's pushing.
Just like the real world, except it doesn't hurt when you hit the wall here. Hutchings being very aggressive as he completes lap number 1. Let's see where it comes in.
Yeah, these runs are all or nothing right here, so you kind of have to be aggressive. Do whatever you possibly can, whatever is in your power to make it into this Fast 9. That first lap's going to be a good one, though, I think, for Joe Hutchings.
39.760, not quite fast enough.
No, Joe Hutchings, 661.
I'm sorry, I stand corrected. He flipped over Gill, and I apologize for that. 39.661.
Slower, though, than Joe Ribeiro's first lap, though. So if we're comparing it in that aspect,
yeah,
that's something to be concerned about in terms of being able to beat the driver there currently sitting in the second position. But we'll see how he continues to track over the course of the next couple laps. He is now halfway through this run. We're waiting for that second lap time to be entered. It's a 6.60 average lap time now. Still ahead of Joe Ribeiro. Has a 10th buffer right now, Joe Hutchings right now. Could he bump Joe Ribeiro out of the Indy 500?
1/10 of a second, that much, if that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the difference between the two drivers over the first couple of laps.
It's ridiculous. You know, when we were talking about the Fast 9, they were separated by thousandths of a second, and here we are talking about tenths. They seem like centuries in racing terms.
Yep. Halfway home. Or I'm sorry, lap 3 in now.
Yep, just one more lap here, and there you go, 39.706. His laps 2 and 3 were both significantly faster than those put down by Joe Ribeiro. Joe Hutchings, just keep it on the racetrack here for the next couple of corners, and he should be on his way to bumping Joe Ribeiro out of the Indy 500, but you've got to be strong here because you got a lot of very fast drivers coming
and
to...
you got to get through through turn 4 this time.
Absolutely, and they're ready to bump you out of the way, and he does make it through turn 4. Joe Hutchings, is he going to cross the line and bump Joe Ribeiro? Here we go. He's across the yard of bricks, waiting on the time to be entered. And he does. Joe Ribeiro
is 39.696 average for 4 laps.
And Ribeiro is now bumped from the Indy 500. Joe Hutchings, now the driver in 33rd position, but a lot of drivers still to go.
Michael Robinson now on the track.
Michael Robinson, here you go. Starts his first lap. We're just catching that off of turn 1 here. Let's see what Robinson can do.
Hitting 230 down the back stretch. This is the time where you put that right foot all the way down and hold it for 4 laps and see just how much nerves you have.
Oh, absolutely. This is, all of these guys have absolutely nothing to lose right now. You've got a single
He went into
run.
that corner. He went into turn 1 at 232.
Whew. Yeah, there's a lot of speed in these cars right now. I think there might be a little bit of a headwind or a tailwind, excuse me.
Not quite enough, fast enough though. 39.747.
Yeah, first lap speed.
Lap.
It looks like you've got to be 39.6, somewhere around that 39.6 range to be in contention here. Potentially, he could put together a good lap 2 and 3 here, but loose off of 4 there. That's not going to help this lap time.
Halfway through.
Oh, and around.
Whoa!
Michael Robinson spins it there in turn 1, and his Indy 500 hopes are over. Number
Kept
09
it off
car.
the wall, but Dustin Dorig ready to head out on the track.
Yes, sir. Number 52 car, Dustin Dewar. He's going to start rolling in just a second. We're going to wait for
Do we
that.
have a replay on that?
Yeah, we absolutely can get one. Let's head back over to the iRace Online replay. First time they've shown up here tonight. Oh. Let's just grab some of this stuff here and take a look here. Just see how it went wrong there for Michael Robinson through turn 1. And what we're going to do is actually ride on board with this number 09 car.
Heading down into 1. And back end's coming around. Whoa.
Does a good job keeping it off the wall there, and but unfortunately for him, that's all it takes. It's unfortunately day over for the 09, and the 52 now is just rolling. Dustin Dewar, excuse me, no, it's not. He's been passed up by the 48. Adam Pelk is now going to take to the track. Dustin Dewar has is not going to run, I suppose. Interesting. So Adam Pelk taking to the racetrack. We talked to him earlier in the show about the changes he was planning to make to that race car. Let's see if they've paid off.
Wonder what caused Dustin to miss his spotting line.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Adam on the clock now, heading into turn 1.
Ooh, the same issue he had there.
Even higher.
Yeah. Not what you want to see.
You go that high out. You go that high into turn 2 in the real world, you're not coming out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
On 4 wheels.
In this case, the negative is just losing that lap time. Yeah, it's. You've got to be. I mean, we've said it a couple of times here already. You have to be millimeter perfect in these cars. You really do, and those kind of things. That's what unfortunately, might get Adam Pelk bumped here. Unless these next couple of laps are truly staggering. 39.857, so still manages to keep some pace, but does it again. Excuse me. But yeah, high in turn 2 once again there for Adam Pelk, and that's not going to help his case here heading down for lap 2 and trying to put this lap time together.
Yeah, you'd wonder whether the guys are watching other drivers when they're competing, when they're out on the track, and just sort of going to school on what the pros are doing.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I would assume yes. I know obviously you probably wouldn't be doing it all day long, as it's been a long day for a lot of these drivers, with qualifying starting at 4:30. But surely when you know that a fast guy's going out, I'm sure all the guys in the Fast 9 right now are watching replays of Sage Karam's run, trying to figure out how the heck did he do that, because they're all going to need to.
They want his onboard.
Oh yeah.
They want his onboard camera.
they want his inputs more importantly, I think, and that's something that obviously you don't get super easily through iRacing because it's a competitive service and everyone's here is a competitor. But that's exactly what you want. So you can watch that onboard all you want, but it's one thing to watch a guy's onboard and say, I could probably do that. It's another thing to actually do that.
Yeah, you can get the idea from where you should be hitting the turns from that onboard. You can get the idea where to slow down and where to turn in. And, okay, he took a lower line that time into turn 2.
So Adam Pelk there, again, improved. 39.862, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. This is his final lap here. We'll see, but he's improved over the course of the run here, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough here for this 48 car to advance. Coming to the line, Adam Pelk in the 48 car. And wait for that last lap time to be entered here, and it's going to be a 4-lap average of 39.912. Adam Pelk will not make the Indy 500.
Eric Schaus is our next qualifier.
And Schaus, I think, already on this run here by the looks of it. So Eric Schaus now on this first lap here. Let's see what he's able to do in a very unique looking scheme. I don't think we've seen Eric Schaus run yet since we've gone live.
No. And he's not running in the regular series, I don't believe.
No, I do not believe he is. You're correct.
And he's pulling in.
Okay, so he's waving this run. Eric Schaus then will not make the Indy 500. So that's 3 waved cars here. Michael Goodman.
And that was Eric, that was Adam Pelk in behind him. Wonder what happened there. Did he take the track too early? Because Pelk was still coming around.
That is very interesting, actually, yeah.
Because, yeah, he had already started his run after Adam Pelk came in. I wonder if he left the pits too early.
Yeah, we're currently seeing no cars out on the racetrack. Not sure if it's a penalty or anything there for... Whew. Yeah, that could be very interesting, but right now, timing and scoring shows the Eric Schaus run is waived. Not sure if that's by choice or by being forced to waive that run off. But we're currently waiting for the next car to take the track. We're expecting it to be Tom Holland, but he might not be running here. This delay could be because Holland hasn't responded, but we do see a car rolling down pit road. So who is that? That is, in fact, Tom Holland in the number 11. Or excuse me, nope, in the number 31.
Tom Holland, one of the regulars in the series.
Holland's gonna come around here. Only, your out lap is your only warm-up lap here, unlike real life qualifying. So again, like Chad mentioned earlier on, we run a condensed schedule. It makes these runs just a little bit quicker to do. So you really, the second you come off that pit speed limiter, you've got to maximize every mile an hour you can gain here because it all makes a difference there. 232 coming into turn 1 here for Tom Holland. Pretty solid turn 1 there. Let's see how low he's able to get here through turn 2. Doesn't quite get to the white line, but a pretty solid line there, pretty safe there. We'll take a look at how this first lap comes out. Obviously still turns 3 and 4 to go.
Diving into turn 3. Nice smooth line out towards the wall.
Yeah, good lines here from Tom Holland right now. Not the most aggressive, but also nothing that's going to be losing him a ton of time. We'll take a look at how this first lap comes out, though. 2:31 across the line.
It's fast enough.
That is a very, very quick first lap here. The fastest of anybody in the bump round so far. 39.611 for Tom Holland. Let's see if he's able to keep up this speed over the course of the run. It's not a long way back to Joe Hutchings, who's currently in this race.
But Hutchings is probably getting a little nervous right about now.
Oh, yeah.
Lap number 2 in the books. Is it fast enough?
Just. Ooh, this is going to be very close here. 6:49, Tom Holland. He has half a tenth of a second between him and making this show. He's got to keep that half a tenth gap over Joe Hutchings right now.
Just a note, race fans, if you like this action and you want to see what it looks like in the real world, the IndyCar Series is at Texas Motor Speedway tomorrow night for a nighttime race, and then Sunday afternoon those races are on NBCSN.
Looking forward to seeing IndyCar back on an oval.
It's getting tighter.
Okay, here we go. 0.02 of a second the gap right now. Tom Holland has one more lap to try and put this car in the show.
Last turn, heading down the stretch, headed for the checkered flag. Is it fast enough? We'll find out in just a second as Tom Holland crosses the yard of bricks.
Waiting for that final time to be entered here, and no. Oh, by 3 1,000ths of a second.
Oh, and Joe Hutchings, sorry to say, the dream is over for this year.
Yeah, unfortunate for Joe Hutchings to be that close. But Tom Holland, what a run there to put that car in the show for now. Robert Garcia going to see what he can do to try and push that 31 car out. And I should mention, I mean, some of the names we've got coming up later in this show are some pretty big names and some pretty successful drivers on ovals especially. So it could get very interesting as this bumping round continues to go on here.
Let's watch as Garcia comes down to complete lap number 1. Right. It's faster.
Yep, solid pace there from Robert Garcia, 6.50. That puts him a little bit faster than the first lap by Joe Hutchings, which is the benchmark you're kind of looking at. Obviously, Tom Holland is the guy you want to beat, so slower than Tom Holland on that first lap, but if he can maintain better pace than Holland, because Holland dropped off a little bit, especially on laps 3 and 4, this could be very close.
Let's watch lap number 2 in the books now as he crosses the yard of bricks. Robert Garcia heading down into turn 1 now on lap number 3. We'll check the timing and scoring report here. It's still fast enough.
It is 0.03 of a second fast enough right now for Robert Garcia. He needs to hold on to that now for 2 laps. We saw Tom Holland barely do it with a 0.05 gap over Joe Hutchings after lap 2, so it's possible for Robert Garcia to do this. It's going to be very tight, though.
Coming down the main stretch. Is it fast enough?
Very close here. 39.704. Really consistent runs here by Robert Garcia. These lap times are exceptional. Laps 2 and 3 were both faster than Tom Holland. Lap 1 was slower. This is where it's all going to be made here. 200 still the gap here between Holland and Garcia. Less than 200s, excuse me, between Holland and Garcia. What can Robert Garcia do? Can he knock Tom Holland out just one run after Holland knocked Hutchings out to the yard of bricks? Let's see how this pans out.
As he crosses the line, let's check the timing report. Oh, jeez. 3 1,000ths of a second again.
Yeah, oh my God, Robert Garcia there. So 6 total thousandths of a second from first to third. That is painful if you are Robert Garcia. Man, oh man, that.
Oh no, that's. Okay, he didn't. Okay, oh.
Yeah.
6 1,000ths of a second short.
You know, I love doing this, but, you know, if you don't quite understand just how little time 6 1,000ths of a second is, go to your timer app on your phone and try to even get it to be under 1/10 of a second. I'll tell you.
We're talking literally the blink of an eye.
probably even faster than that, realistically.
Hayden Herman is out on the track now.
Yeah, I mean, such close times between these guys. Hayden Herman, what can he do? What kind of lap time can he put down to try and bump Tom Holland now? So Holland survives that great attack from Robert Garcia. Unfortunate that Robert Garcia not able to make it into the show, but whew.
All right, let's check on Herman's first lap. He goes to the top of the charts, 39.629.
Yeah, that's a really good first lap there from Hayden Herman. But the question really is, how do you hold on to the speed over the course of the run? You can have a great first lap, but drop off very quickly on laps 3 and 4 especially. So, we saw there with Robert Garcia. He was consistent, extremely consistent. Laps 1, 2, and 3 dropped off a little bit on lap 4, and that lost him that spot or that chance.
His entry speed into 3 was 2:31.
All right, so solid pace there. That's pretty consistent, I think, with what we've been seeing. And entry speed into turn 1 should be around 2:32, and
Yep,
it is
2:32.
Let's see, lap number 2 in 6:34. So really good second lap there. That is the fastest lap 2 we've seen so far by some margin for Hayden Herman.
Just he's into the wall. He's spinning. He's going. Whoa!
Keeps it.
It's drifting time.
Yeah, keeps it off the wall, but it's game over for Hayden Herman, who was looking like he might track to knock Tom Holland out of this event, and Hayden Herman will instead be bumped.
I hate to say it, but we've got to see the in-car on that one.
Yeah, we certainly do. It's man, oh man. Back to the iRace Online replay for Hayden Herman. So unfortunate.
He
was
hit
showing
bumps you never see on that track.
such great pace, but yeah, this is going to be a wild ride here. We're going to join him.
This is the way I play golf, all the way across left, right, left, right, left, right.
So here we go, on board with this 54 car through turn 3, and we're all along the ceremony.
Across the apron, back up through the grass, heading towards the wall, gets him back down, comes back across the pit lane.
Around for Hayden Herman, and it is day over. Chance to race in the Indy 500 over for Hayden Herman, unfortunately. Out on track right now, we've got the 85 of Jake Fluman.
Using the Haas F1 livery from a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. Well, let's see how Fluman gets up to speed and what kind of lap time he can try to put down here. And, if he can contend right now with that extremely tight group up top with Tom Holland leading the way in this bumper.
Right out to the edge of the wall. Nice line through 2.
After Fluman, we have Hank Steinmiller, Johnny Thomas, and Tyler Fode all in a row. All 3 of those drivers are competing for a Cup Series championship right now on the Elite Racing Leagues in the Elite Joint APS Cup Series. So if any of them make it, only one of them can. So certainly, some bragging rights there, but a lot of very talented drivers still to come.
Here comes the first lap for Jake Fluman. It's fast enough right now, 39.557.
That is the fastest single lap of this bump round so far. Heck, that first lap is consistent with some of the lap times we were seeing from guys who put their cars in the top 9. This is so far a very solid start to the run.
Yeah, the track keeps cooling off.
For Jake Fluman, that definitely makes a difference. It makes these cars easier to drive, and it makes the drop-off much less. We've seen guys much more consistent over the course of their 4 laps, but Fluman needs to just not make mistakes behind the wheel. The car should have the grip over the course of the run.
Halfway home. Is it fast enough? The average is now 39.615.
Yeah, big drop-off there on that second lap, though, so not what he wanted to see. Over a 1/10 of a second drop-off from lap 1 to lap 2, which is not at all consistent with what we've been seeing, though still fairly competitive for a lap 2. Let's see, though, how lap 3 and 4 pan out.
Andy has a little bit of wiggle room left. Not much, but some. Coming down to complete lap 3.
Is his 3-lap average. So right now has a large buffer over Tom Holland. Just needs to hold on for this 4th lap and could be in.
If we're going to have one, let's have it so that it's not another one of these 3 1,000ths of a second deals. I can't take any more of that tonight.
Ooh, well, there's a lot of cars still left to run here, Mark. So
And a little bit of a wiggle there in the short chute.
But he does make it cleanly through out of turn 4. What's this run going to be for Jake Fluman? Can he make it into the show? Can he bump Tom Holland? Waiting for timing and scoring to update. And he does it by a good margin. There you go.
6.55 is the average for 4 laps. Or 39.671 is now the average for 4 laps. That was 0.2 of a second quicker than Holland, and Jake Fluman is now in position 33. Hank Steinmiller is on the track right now. Normally we see him in the trucks and the stock car series, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Hank Steinmiller right now, one of the guys, one of my favorites to make the Final Four in the Joint APS Cup Series chase. Definitely, for all our viewers, tune into those Wednesday nights. We're going to go fighting for a championship over the course of the next 7 weeks. But for Hank Steinmiller right now, the only thing on his mind is being car number 33 in this field. What can he do in his, I believe, his first here IndyCar start?
He has not run any of the IndyCar races so far this season. And he was a rookie in Elite Racing last year.
Yeah, so
in the last season, so this may be his first outing in an IndyCar.
Absolutely. So it's a big task to ask him to qualify into this event in the bumping round. Let's see what this first lap is
then. It's good enough. 39.537.
Extremely good. Again, now another fastest lap that we've seen here in this bumping round so far. We saw that with Jake Fluman was enough to carry him to make it into the field, but part of that is A, surviving, and B, maintaining pace over the course of the 4 laps. And
whoa,
just as I say that, spins it out in turn 4.
Up against the wall.
Hank Steinmiller will be bumped out of the Indy 500.
Johnny Thomas is next up in the 81 car. He was on the track when we came on the air tonight.
Yes, he was. Johnny Thomas has, again, another one of those guys you're looking at as possibly a championship contender in the Cup Series. He's had almost won the regular season championship. Again, I believe, once again, his first outing here in the IndyCar is hoping that he can make the field.
Many have tried so far. Only one will make it into the 33rd spot for next Friday night's Richmar Florist's presentation of the Elite Racing Leagues Indianapolis 500. We will have all the action for you, a few special guests in line as well, and a few professional drivers in the ring. On the grid, you'll have Kyle Busch, Stephen Wilson, among others. We'll see a couple of these guys running later on in the next half hour or so in the Fast 9 shootout for the pole as Johnny Thomas comes around the north end of the track, heads into turn 4 to complete his first lap.
Here we go. Let's take a look and see what can Johnny Thomas do in an IndyCar.
It's a slower first lap than other drivers so far in the bump round, but it's fast enough right now at 39.635.
Yeah, not an amazing first lap here, but again, if he can be consistent over the course of the next couple of laps, there's many different ways to get your way to a good 4-lap average.
Right, if you can get 4 good consistent laps in very close to each other rather than one barn burner lap at the beginning and then have it fall off.
Exactly.
Let's see what happens as he comes down to complete lap number 2. He was 2:31 crossing the yard of bricks.
Yeah.
A little faster than other drivers have.
So 6:38 on that second lap. So, yeah, you want to talk about consistency? 0.03 of a second between lap 1 and 2.
That's exactly what you need. Johnny Thomas heading into turn 3. Lap 3, heading down the main stretch, is in the books.
Once again, super consistent there, 200 slower than his first 2 laps. Still a 6.42 average. He's got a little bit of a buffer here, just needs to make it through this 4th lap, though this has been, like we were saying, wasn't an amazing first lap, but consistent, extraordinarily consistent across the first 3 laps.
This may be the narrowest spread across 4 laps that we've seen tonight.
Yeah,
any of the drivers.
This is superb right now, this run from Johnny Thomas, assuming he makes it through. He does survive turn 4. What is this final lap going to be?
As he crosses the line, is it fast enough? 39.660. It's a little bit slower, but it is fast enough to make the field and bump Jake Fluman out.
There you go. So Johnny Thomas now sits P33, but here we go. Tyler Fode, one of those NASCAR guys who does have experience driving an IndyCar and has experience almost winning an IndyCar race we saw at Phoenix earlier this season. So can get it done on an oval. And Tyler Fode, winner of the Brickyard 400 a couple seasons ago in the Cup Series, knows how to get it done at this racetrack as well. So Fode, what can he do? Can he put together a 4-lap run here that can be competitive?
The lines that IndyCar and NASCAR take through that oval are a little bit differently, though, in the turns. And it does take some adjustment, as I'm sure Kyle Busch can tell you. He probably took those NASCAR lines his first time around and regretted it.
Yeah, well, Tyler Fode has contended for wins in an IndyCar at a different oval and won at this oval but in a stock car, but has not combined both an IndyCar and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway yet. But that first lap is very quick.
39.591.
Not the fastest we've seen tonight now, but again, Johnny Thomas's first lap wasn't the fastest lap we saw tonight. So you can't tell a ton from this first lap here. We're going to see if Tyler Fode's able to keep the consistency up over the course of these next 3 laps.
Right out to the edge of the wall. Hit the apex nicely coming into 4. And he hit 231 at the line. .39s. Whoa, what happened?
Just a glitch entering the data there.
Glitch, oh, yeah. What the? Tyler Fode now 39.619, almost close to 5 thousandths of or 51 thousandths of a second. 5 100ths of a second, I'm sorry. Well, when you're getting it down to 3 digits and it's this close.
I mean, the gaps are ridiculous here. Lap 3 is going to be a 6.45. So again, you want to talk about consistency. That is a 1,000th between lap 2 and lap 3 for Tyler Fode. In fact, a 1,000th faster on lap 3.
Wow. As Fode comes down into 3.
Here we go, off of turn 4. Tyler Fode has put an impressive run together so far. Is it going to be enough? Right now it looks like it might be. Tyler Fode across the line. And it is by 200ths of a second.
So Johnny Thomas will be finding something else to do next Friday night. David Westergain hits the track now. Had a great run early. First couple of laps went well and then fell off at the end.
Yeah, we'll see what David can put together here. Again, or if not his very first start here in an IndyCar. So put down some impressive pace. Needs to put together the 4-lap average here to try and bump Tyler Fode there, teammate in the Truck Series.
Correct me if I'm wrong, those guys race for Lake Norman, right?
Yes, sir.
Lake Norman Motorsports.
I think Lake Norman with a couple of cars here entered in this event. Tyler Fode, Brian Blauman, David Westergreen, I believe, 3 of them, and Hank Steinmiller.
Let's watch as David comes down the main stretch to complete the first lap. Not fast enough.
Yeah, 6:42.
6:42.
That's going to be tricky for David Westergreen there. That first lap, you typically expect it to be your fastest lap. Right now puts him behind the 4-lap average of Tyler Fode. We'll see what David can do if he's going to get more comfortable, maybe find some speed as the run goes on. But, you know, the tires are wearing for sure, and you're going to lose speed naturally in the car.
We have 6 drivers left after this with a chance to bump their way into the field. Oh, this is getting interesting.
Wow. All right. So as it stands right now, David Westergreen, Tyler Fode with the exact same lap times. There you see there, David Westergreen improving on that second lap. I mean, again, we're talking such small margins here.
We're talking tied right now on the average at 6:40.
Ugh. The difference for Tyler Fode to breathe a little bit right now is his was over 4 laps. For Westergreen, it was just over 2. David Westergreen's going to have to find some pace here on these next couple of laps. And a 7.60 is not going to do it. He's got one more, though. He's got one more shot if he wants to try and make it. It has to be a big 4th lap, but historically, again, throughout this this night, we haven't seen drivers put their best lap down on lap 4, but you know, we'll see. It might be day over, though, for David Westergreen.
Hitting turn 4 now. Is he fast enough? We'll find out in just a second as David Westergreen crosses the yard of bricks. It is not fast enough. He falls to 7th on the speed chart at 39.701. So Tyler Fode is still safe in the field.
Yeah, a reminder to anybody joining us right now, only that car in the first position you see on the ticker on your right-hand side will make the field. Everybody else will be bumped. This is the 33rd on backwards qualifying run. Number 16 car out on the racetrack of Joe McAdary.
Is he running the, I can't tell the livery on this one.
Tricky to tell. It's an Apex Racing livery, it appears.
Okay. He ran a great livery a couple of weeks ago in the series that was honoring nurses. His wife is a nurse.
Yeah, absolutely. Won the K&P Paint of the Race from Phoenix.
Was kind of hoping he'd run that one again this week.
Yes, sir. A little bit of a different scheme here for Joe McAdary, but we'll see if it gives him any little pace advantage or anything like that. Different wrap on the car, and there you go. 5.58 for the first lap. That is very competitive. That's the 3rd fastest lap put down here in the bumping session.
McAdary comes around. Lap number 2 in the books.
.232 into turn 1.
And still faster.
Yeah, a very good second lap there, 6:01. So brings his average up to a 5.80 right now, comfortably ahead of Tyler Fode.
Joe running a nice smooth line through 3. Into 1. Out towards the wall in the short chute and down into 2.
39.623 is the 3-lap
It's getting
average.
closer.
Yes, it certainly is here. 200, just under 200ths of a second, the gap between Tyler Fody and Joe McCattery. One more corner for this 16 car. Can he bump Tyler Fody from the field off of turn 4? Going to take the shortest route as possible to the yard of bricks.
No! 6/1000ths of a second.
So close for Joe McCattery. Just misses out on making the show.
Thales Toledo hitting the track now.
Yes, sir. Tails Toledo in the number 77 car. About to start his very first lap of the night. And doing some cones on the track. Hopefully those weren't there for him or a distraction. Good line there through 3 and 4. Let's see what this first lap looks like for this number 77.
Watching for the scoring report here. 39.613. Barely fast enough right now. He's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit.
For sure. We'll see how he's able to maintain that speed though over the course of the run. I think to make it, you might need that first lap to be a 39.5 XX might be the requirement to be in contention, but we'll see. Tails Toledo could still have the average lap work out for him if he doesn't lose really any time here. 6.89 on the second lap. That brings him out of contention right now.
His qualifying run during the first session was a 39.734 average. So he has picked it up from the earlier time tonight.
Certainly has, but right now a 6.70 3-lap average doesn't look like it's going to be enough for Tails Toledo. He's got one more lap to try and rectify any mistakes made on those first 3 laps here, but lap 3 dropped down to a 39.707. Might not be enough here. Unfortunately isn't there. 39.713 for Tails Toledo. P9 in the bumping order is not going to make the Indy 500.
So Tyler Fody is still safe. Brendan Madonia is our next qualifier.
Madonia, one of our regulars during the regular season, and very aggressive there through turn 1. You saw just how close he got to the wall off of 1. Madonia looking like he's got some speed here right now. We'll see, though, if he's able to carry this across the lap and what it's actually going to look like on the time.
His fastest lap in the first round was 39.672, and he had a 39.733 average for 4 laps. So let's keep those numbers in mind. The target is 39.640 for 4 laps.
1, 39.649.
Not quite fast enough, but can he pick up the pace?
Off of turn 4 for lap number 2.
Past the yard of bricks and heading out towards the wall to make that dive into turn 1. He's up to second. It's getting closer. 4 1/1000ths of a second difference between Madonia and Tyler Fode.
Yeah, lap 2 better than the first lap around here.
He hit 231 entering turn 3 that time by. Lap 3 in the books.
Drops it again a little bit, 39.657 now.
Just to give you a bit of perspective in this, 12 drivers have completed their runs so far, counting Brendan Madonia here. They are all within basically about 0.3 of a second of each other.
It is pretty ridiculous here as Brendan Madonia does finish that run. Unfortunately for him, not quite enough. He's going to sit P5 in the bump day order, and that's not going to be enough to make the field. Reminder, just that top driver makes it in, and right now that is Tyler Fode by 6 1/1000ths of a second. And what is it, just 3 drivers left to dethrone that number 40 car.
Robert Hill is next up.
Across the line for lap number 1. What's it going to look like for Robert Hill? Ooh.
Hello.
All right, Robert Hill with a 39.572 first lap here. Very competitive there, faster than the first lap of Tyler Fode. We're going to do that direct comparison here from lap to lap.
And faster than any of the laps he did in his first qualifying run earlier.
All right, so Robert Hill has made some adjustments or has found something he likes on this racetrack. The track temp maybe just working to his comfort right now. Change the balance of the car to the way he likes it. Let's take a look at lap number 2.
It's fast enough.
6:04 right now, and he sits at an average of 39.588. This is going to be enough right now over Tyler Fode. And again, lap 1 and lap 2, both faster than what that 40 car put down.
He pulled away from the wall a little bit coming down the back stretch. Lap 3 in the books.
9.7 compared to Tyler Fode. That's the first lap he's had that's been slower than Fode. That drops him to a 39.618 average, but he's got some buffer to play with, 200ths of a second right now. And I say some buffer. Once again,
12 1/1000ths of a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 22 1/1000ths of a second.
Still ridiculous.
Here he comes by. Is he going to be fast enough to knock Tyler Fode off the field?
Robert Hill across the yard of bricks for the 4th time here. Gonna hit pit road, and the time is gonna come in. 6:45,
No!
just misses out. 5/1000ths of a second. We saw that with Joey McAtery, who was tracking well, just missed out. Robert Hill as well, just misses out. And now it's the turn of Steven Ellis in the number 37 car. What can he do? Can he make this field? We've got just 2 drivers left, Steven Ellis and Marshall Stanley.
Steven Ellis was our last driver to attempt to qualify during the first round and did not make it.
We'll see if he's found some speed.
His 4-lap average last time around was 39.727.
Yeah, not going to be enough for Steven Ellis this time around. If he does repeat that same run here, but Steven Ellis probably worked on that car a little bit, learned from some of the guys he watched. You saw aggressive there in turn 1 just on that curb, and that can be dangerous. We've seen guys lose their cars down there on the, putting that left wheel on the apron, but it can give you a lot of speed if you hit it just right.
Took a little bit of a later entry into turn 3.
On this first lap, Steven Ellis's lines have been perfect. Absolutely perfect. I want to see what this lap time is going to come out to, but I have been so impressed with the lines that Steven Ellis has taken on this first lap. This is going to be a quick one. He needs to maintain the speed, though. It's only, or excuse me, that second lap, because that was just a 6.34, not quite enough.
They put him up at the top of the charts, but it's not comfortable by any stretch.
Yeah. The second lap is the one we were watching. That was a 6.11, so that was quick. Lap 2 was a lot faster than lap 1, so he's sitting now at a 6.23 2-lap average.
17 1,000ths of a second difference to Fody.
I'm really impressed at his willingness to put those left wheels below the white line here. We haven't seen too many drivers in this bumping round doing that. Expect to see a lot of guys doing that in the final 9, or in the pole shootout in the Fast 9, but Steven Ellis right now putting in some good lines here, and that lap again, 2.8. 6.28 right now, so he is, again, I think it's just, 12?
12 1,000ths of a second.
Here we go.
Hold your breath for that long.
Yeah, we've seen guys lose bigger gaps, though, to Tyler Fody on that 4th lap. Fody had a very impressive lap number 4. Let's see what these guys can do. Steven Ellis across the yard of bricks. Oh! And once again,
8 1,000ths of a second.
Tyler Fody, that lap 4, I didn't appreciate it for what it was when he did it, but doing a 39.677 on the final lap of a 4-lap run is impressive as heck, and that is the reason why we've seen drivers come in above Tyler Fody. They've had better 3-lap averages, but that lap before, Tyler Fody pulled out something spectacular. And Marshall Stanley, the last guy who could potentially bump this number 40 car.
I hate to say this because Tyler's the only guy we could get away with doing this with. Let's get him in the room.
Oh yeah, Tyler Fody. Let's see if we can nab him if he is available.
Come on, Tyler. We know you're watching.
Watching
Get in
very
here.
nervously.
Here we go. Top of the speed charts. 39.546 the first lap.
I will say, if Marshall Stanley does bump Tyler Fody, I personally will not hear the end of it, because I've been told a number of times that I cursed Tyler Fody on these broadcasts, so we shall see.
We have never cursed about Tyler Fody. We just talk about him a lot.
No, not cursed about, but cursed him in terms of...
I know. Come on, Tyler. Come in here and join us.
Oh, man. I think he'll wait for Marshall Stanley's run to finish. And Marshall Stanley right now, that 2-lap average is competitive, 39.571.
As Stanley heads down the backstretch halfway there.
He was the fastest of all of these drivers in the original qualifying session. That's why he gets to roll last here in the bump session. What can Marshall Stanley pull out of the hat here if he can beat Tyler Fody? Right now, he seems to be tracking to do so. We'll take a look at lap 3.
as Marshall Stanley crosses the yard of bricks. That's 39.605, 35 one-thousandths of a second cushion heading into lap 4.
He's got to cook. Those first 2 laps were really good, but that's a big drop-off from lap 2 to lap 3.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
It's going to be very, very close.
Stanley now in turn 3 at the north end of the track. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be fast, and it's got to be right now or never for Marshall Stanley as he crosses the line. Is it fast enough? Let's find out.
Yes,
it is. 39.631 is the 4-lap average, or is the average of the 4 laps. Tyler Fode out by 9 one-thousandths of a second.
Man, oh man, that bump
The
session
curse strikes again.
was ridiculous. Oh no, Tyler Fode's gonna hate me.
It's okay, he can't catch you.
Oh man, all right, so that means we're gonna head now to the pole session.
Why don't we take a break and give our sponsors some love and come back for the pole session?
That sounds like a good idea here. We can catch our breath after that amazing bump session. But yeah, here we go. We'll go
Okay.
to our sponsor.
My name is John Cunningham with C2 Freight Resources. We are a Hub Zone certified logistics company here in Houston, Alabama. We've been in business for over 20 years, working with the Department of Defense and the federal government, among many other customers. C2 is committed to truckload shipments along with less than truckload shipments across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Our high level of service is what keeps our customers coming back year after year. Our industry-leading transportation management software, along with our tracking software, allow our customers to know where their shipments are at any time, any day. In closing, C2 Freight looks forward to earning your trust and business through actions day in and day out. We know if given the opportunity, you'll be pleased with our service and communication.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
We are in the shootout for the pole for next Friday night's Richmar Florist's Indianapolis 500 in the Elite Racing League. I'm Mark Gillespie along with Rishabh Khosla. Brian Blauman is on the track, the 9th of the 9 drivers so far. His first lap is 39.516. He will be followed in the order by Kyle Busch, then Eric Troiano, Nick DeGroot, Chad Frankenfield, Adriano Pinheiro, Henry Bennett, Caleb Bensi, and Sage Karam. One of those drivers will start on the pole. This will also set the order for the first 3 rows for next week's 500.
Yes, sir. So a 39.516 the first lap for Brian Blauman. Second lap was a 39.611. Waiting for, I think, that 3rd lap to register here. But there you see that difference in pace from the bumping round to the Fast 9. Right now, tracking for a 39.564. Impressive pace from these guys in the Fast 9. And again, Brian Blauman was 9th of 9 in the regular qualifying session, so we could see some ridiculous lap times here as this day goes on. 6:06 on lap 3. Could this be a under 39.6 4-lap average?
A lot less consistent, though. The guys in the bumping round were turning in lap times within 3/100ths of a second of each other.
Yeah, not as consistent for Brian Blauman. I think improved lap 3 over lap 2, so maybe struggled a little bit on lap 2, but yeah, definitely that big drop-off from a killer lap 1, 5:16, but then huge drop-off to 2. Maintained it on lap 3. Here we go. He's going to cross the line for lap 4 and finish his pole run. What can Brian Blauman do? 5.99. So there you go.
Well, right now he is our provisional pole sitter.
Yes, sir. Next out on track is going to be Kyle Busch. Coming around to start his first lap.
The green flag is out. Kyle Busch heads into turn 1. I'd love to see him do this for real one day.
Without a doubt, yeah, it's great to see. Hopefully Jimmy Johnson brings a number of other NASCAR. I believe it really started with Kurt Busch, I suppose, a few years back as well.
Yeah.
But would love to see more more NASCAR drivers try to make that swap over, try out some IndyCar races, because they race on similar racetracks, but they're very different disciplines.
Oh, yeah. I just get the feeling that a certain coach doesn't want his star driver putting his neck on the line in an Indy car.
Absolutely. The speeds
Let's
can
check
certainly
that
be
first lap out.
daunting in these cars, and it's a 5.74 first lap for Kyle Busch. That puts him provisionally on the pole, but quite a bit slower than Brian Blauman's first lap. But remember, Blauman had a big drop-off from lap 1 to lap 2. If Busch can be more consistent, he could still have a shot at this pole position.
Busch heading into 3. He appears to be getting the hang of the open wheel cars quite nicely here. Halfway home. 39.610. It's still fast enough, but not by 7/1000ths of a second.
Yeah, it's very close here. What's
Guys
more
are not going
important?
to make it easy for us tonight, are they?
Yeah, what's more important for Kyle Busch, though, is it's consistent. We're more consistent from lap 1 to lap 2, so might have less drop-off on 3 and 4. But, I mean, remember, Blauman went faster on 3 than he did on 2, so this could be interesting to see how these two fare. Blauman had that rocket first lap there that kind of propelled him to that good lap time there. Fell off a little bit on lap 4, but Kyle Busch right now staying pretty consistent there on laps 1 and 2.
Lap 3 in the books as Kyle Busch heads into turn 1. 39.661. A little bit slower.
One more lap here for the two-time Cup Series champion. Guaranteed to start in the first 3 rows, but would like to start as far forward as possible, I'm sure. Just one more corner to go on this run to finish off the stressful qualifying night. I'm sure it has been for Kyle Busch, who had to wait a couple of runs earlier in the night. Made the Fast 9, though. Going to cross the Florida bricks for the final time tonight.
And now he can focus on racing for real this weekend at Kansas.
Yeah, absolutely. Sitting probably in his bus in Kansas, working on this qualifying session here. Does not beat Brian Blauman, so Blauman remains your provisional pole sitter by a little bit of margin there. But Kyle Busch again guaranteed to start inside that top 9.
Can you imagine the bragging rights Blauman has right now? He outqualified Kyle freaking Busch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just impressive for everybody who might get the chance to outqualify Kyle Busch here. Just to be able to say, the guys that just being able to race against Kyle Busch. Heck, I still, one of my best, racing memories in the Elite Racing Leagues was driving a USF 2000 against Rubens Barrichello and Robert Wickens for 10 consistent laps at Laguna Seca. It was for 8th position, but I didn't care. I was racing Rubens Barrichello.
Eric Troiano's on the track now, just taking the green flag. I apologize. That was lap number 1 in the books, 39.551.
Right now puts him at the top of the time sheet. Slower than Blauman's first lap, faster than Kyle Busch's first lap. So it kind of sits in the middle right now. It's going to be, again, how to see fair on laps 2, 3, and 4.
Just a bit slower, but still fast enough.
Yep, that's the fastest lap 2 so far. hundredth of a second, I should say, but or less than a hundredth of a second, but you know,
not by much, but it counts.
It certainly makes a difference. Eric Triano still tracking in first position here. 2 laps to go, though, or more like 1.5 laps to go here. Off of turn 4 to the yard of bricks for the 3rd time. We have one more lap here in this pole run. 6:24 is lap 3. That puts him right now just in range to be the pole sitter, but it's going to be very close on this final lap.
It's going to be very, very close. Is it close enough? Can Troiano do it? Let's find out as he takes the checkered flag. Not quite.
So Brian Blauman remains on the pole by 6/1000ths of a second.
Nick DeGroot is out on the track right now.
Yes, sir. Nick DeGroot saying this is his first time in the Fast 9. He's been a regular of this series for the past couple of seasons. First time he's made a Fast 9 appearance for the Indy 500, so he's hoping to make the most of it.
He's on it.
Here we go. Lap number 1 was a 5.32.
That's good.
Very, very good.
DeGroot at the north end of the track. Moving into turn 4, coming down to complete lap number 2.
Good pace off of turn 4 there. Was about 2:26 actually. So really good off of 4. Let's take a look at this lap number 2. Actually came out to a 39.62, so it didn't quite work out for him. Man, every time I look at the car and think, man, he looks fast, the lap time doesn't really seem to represent. I should maybe work on that.
And Nick is one of us working in the media world at motorsport.com. Can you imagine the busting that's going to take place if a rider beats Kyle Busch in qualifying?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, motorsport.com, quite an audience. I know I personally use motorsport.com is...
I mean, that's one we ought to tweet out just for fun.
a little bit of poking fun at Kyle Busch certainly can't hurt.
No.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it can hurt because we want him to come back. We want him to come. We don't want him to get. Although I think he'd take it well.
Yeah, 6.36 though right now for Nick DeGroot. Right now sits behind Kyle Busch in the order. We'll see if lap 4 he can recover and try and get back past the number 51 car.
Here comes DeGroot across the line.
6.45 doesn't, so he's going to sit
1/1000th of a second.
This is a great qualifying session. Just amazing qualifying session here. Nick DeGroot, again, great lap time there by him. And now it's Chad Frankenfield taking over. And so for Chad, this could be very interesting here because Chad's the one who's been putting the lap times on the board. So I don't know who puts the lap times on the board when Chad is driving the car.
Hopefully somebody else is doing it.
Hopefully. Otherwise we can... all right, I'm gonna work on this here. So I'm gonna go to...
You may have to do this yourself.
Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and put this in myself, but I don't have editing privileges on our timing and scoring here, so I'm just gonna use the calculator in my hand right now.
Okay.
This is gonna go very poorly. So we're gonna watch the lap time here, rather than the direct speed off of Chad Frankenfield. So we're going to base it off of the lap. So that was his out lap, I believe.
He just took the green.
Yep.
No, that's the rule. If Chad's going to race, he has to actually input the time while he's driving.
Here we go. Off of turn 4 for his first lap. We'll see it on the bottom of your screen here this time. Rather than up top, it's going to be 39.532.
Same as Nick DeGroot's first lap.
Yeah, spot on. Exactly the same. Wow.
Which means it's not fast enough.
Yeah, he'll need to maintain the pace better than DeGroot did, especially on lap 2. There's a big drop off for Nick DeGroot, 1.5 tenths of a second from lap 1 to lap 2, and that's pretty significant at this racetrack, as we've seen by some of these gaps.
Yep.
Lap number 2 across the line, 39.619.
Not fast enough.
No, sir. That's going to give him an average lap time of 39.575.
Chad heading down the back stretch. Coming up to that angle into turn 3 at 230 miles an hour. Into turn 4 to complete lap number 3.
Here we go. Lap number 3, 39.642.
And Chad heads into turn number 2 to go down the backstretch.
Currently sits at the current average for Chad Frankenfield is a 39.598. So if you want to see how that compares to our timing and scoring, that's 1,000 right now.
Yeah, here we go. As Chad comes down, is he going to take the pole? Is it fast enough? Let's find out as we cross the line with Chad Frankenfield.
39.627, the final lap by Chad Frankenfield. 39.605 is his time. He ties with Eric Troiano.
I thought it was a 6.29.
No, well, his final lap was a 6.29. I'm saying his average.
Okay.
So his 4-lap average, by my calculations, is a 39.605, according to our timing and scoring. We'll get that confirmation officially, but unofficially, whew, there you go. Tied there between those two on the racetrack as the number 12 car of Adriano Pinheiro begins his qualifying run. And now with Chad back, taking care of our timing and scoring, we can head back to our live speed chart. And,
Adriano Pinheiro is third right now in the season-long Elite Racing League Mega Player 86 standing, or Mega Driver 86 standings. Did that again.
Yep, so there you see it on your screen. Chad Frankenfield does now get entered there. 6:06 is actually what his average came out to, so Eric Troiano just beats Chad Frankenfield to the current second position right now. Brian Blauman still remains your pole sitter with 4 drivers still yet to run. Pinheiro with a 5:07, though. That is a huge lap time, the fastest one we've seen in this session.
And he was hitting 231 going into turn 3. Pinheiro, a rookie in the series this year.
2 wins to his name, though.
Yeah.
Has been extremely good on the ovals,
too.
Yep. Lap number 2 is a 49 points. Waiting for it to be entered here. 5:07, that's ridiculous on that first lap.
Yeah.
And if he maintained any of that pace on lap 2, that's going to be impressive here. 5:92. Whew.
That's great.
That's extremely good. Yep. So a reasonable drop off though from lap 1 to lap 2, but still very much, still very comfortable right now. half a tenth of a second right now to the good over Brian Blauman. Lap 3 across the line. Oop. 39.627. It's getting closer. 25 hundredths is now the gap between Blauman and, or 24 hundredths, excuse me, 24 thousandths. Yeah, 24 thousandths. I can't count. Is the difference between Brian Blauman and Adriano Pinheiro. It's 11 p.m., guys.
And this is an engineering student we're talking about, gang. Okay, yeah. Pinheiro coming around to take the checkered flag for his first Indianapolis 500, presented by Richmar Florist. He crosses the line. Let's get the final time.
Just
6 1,000ths of a second to the better of Brian Blauman.
And Adriano Pinheiro now is your provisional pole sitter.
But we have 3 to go, and any of these 3 guys could wind up on the pole very, very easily.
Oh, absolutely. You've got Henry Bennett now going out in that number 1 car. Your reigning champion, your defending Indy 500 winner, Henry Bennett.
And the series leader so far again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So Henry Bennett knows how to get it done in this series. Been so impressive over the course of the last season and a half. Hoping to repeat his success from last season, both in the regular season and here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Bennett flirting with 232 heading into turn 3 at the end of the backstretch.
And a fast, there you go, fastest lap right there. That is the fastest lap we've seen all day. So that's including the regular qualifying, including bump day, including Fast 9. So Henry Bennett, a rocket first lap there, 39.488.
Wow. Henry Bennett flying down the main stretch to wrap up lap number 2, halfway home. To a run that should put him on the front row, if not on the pole. 39.545. A big slowdown there. Comparatively.
Still set on a 5:17 2-lap average here. 5:93 the time to beat by Adriano Pinheiro.
Lap 3 now complete.
Oof. 39.598 lap 3, 4-lap average 39.544. Bennett has a
He has
huge
about
buffer.
5 100ths of a second to work with here.
Yeah, massive buffer here for Bennett. Beautifully off of turn 4 here. Doesn't have to do anything ridiculous, but I think we're about to see a dominant pole run here by Henry Bennett. At least so far. There it is, 5.59 over Adriano Pinheiro, taking the pole away from the number 12 car.
That leaves 2 drivers with a chance to knock Pinheiro and Blauman back into the second row. Henry Bennett can start no worse than 3rd on the outside of the front row as it stands right now.
Yeah, there you go.
It is safe to say that your 3rd row is going to be Frankenfield, Busch, and DeGroot. The second row, Pinheiro, Blauman, and Troiano at least.
Yeah, unless something happens here to Caleb Bensi and Sage Karam. But
Yeah.
I mean, Bensi was the longtime provisional pole sitter in the regular session, and Sage Karam obviously. I mean, I'm expecting Sage to walk up here and put in some ridiculous lap again over Henry Bennett, or at least those guys be very close up front here. But
Yeah.
Bennett, Bensi, and Karam are the 3 guys I think are all 3 threats for pole here. Bennett just sent down the gauntlet.
Let's watch Bensie's trap speed. He's already at 230, 231. Didn't quite hit 232 heading into the turn.
Yeah, and that first lap was a 5.31, so not crazy fast by Caleb Bensie. We'll see, though, again, how he makes his lap time, how he makes that average run work, if it's going to be over the course of these 4 laps versus just going for that all-out pace on lap number 1 like we saw with Henry Bennett, like we saw with Brian Blauman.
It's still fast enough. 7/1000ths of a second on average. Faster than Henry Bennett. Bensie in the race versus car has won this year at Long Beach. Could he take the pole at Indianapolis? We'll find out in just a few seconds here as he comes down for lap 3.
Across the yard of Bricks, and one more lap for Caleb Bensie. What's the time he's got to get to be competitive? 5.78. Looks like he might not quite get to the pole position, but can he still get himself on the front row?
19/1000ths of a second too slow.
Yeah, that
as of lap 3.
4-lap average by Henry Bennett is mighty impressive here. We'll see what Caleb Bensie can do. Not sure he's going to be able to get the pole position, but if he can put that car on the front row, that's pretty solid result for the day. And Caleb Bensie across the line, finished for qualifying today. His 4-lap average, a 39.588, so second. And that relegates Brian Blauman down to the inside of the front, or the second row, as Sage Karam is now the final driver to lap the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here tonight for qualifying. We've seen drivers get bumped, and now we're seeing drivers go for the pole position. 39.559 4-lap average.
He's on it.
Sage Karam, the guy who, before Henry Bennett went out just now, had the fastest lap, the fastest single lap of the day. Karam might try to snatch that back here before the end of the night.
Now look how far Karam comes down on the track.
Yeah, it comes down quite a bit further than the rest of the drivers here. Again, probably those real-life IndyCar habits right there.
Yeah. You kids at home, if you're driving on oval tracks, keep an eye on this guy. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely, yeah. Sage Karam, impressive in real life, impressive in the sim as well. Lap number 1. There you go, a 4.58.
Oh, jeez. That's just sick.
That is a ridiculous time. So, yeah, once again, Sage Karam didn't want to be bested on the single lap either. He's going to try and go for the 4-lap now that he's got that single lap fastest lap of the night here.
In turn 4 at the top of the main stretch, here he comes to a complete lap number 2. Halfway home to a run that could put him on the pole for next Friday night's Richmar Florist Indianapolis 500. 39.523 the second lap.
Here we go for Sage Karam. Ooh, this is going to be interesting between him and Henry Bennett up at the top. 5.59 the time to be it right now. Sage Karam very comfortable to the good here, but now has just 1 lap to go.
Lap 3 complete. 39.587. He still has just a bit of a gap here between Karam and Bennett.
Yep,
all he has to do is go ahead.
I was just going to say 36 1,000ths right now is probably the biggest gap we've seen tonight here for this pole position. And Sage Karam going to round turn 3 and turn 4, bring him to the line here, Mark.
Sage Karam, he'll be racing at the 500 this year on May 30th and racing next Friday night on the pole at the Richmar Florist Indianapolis 500, all things considered. We will watch it. He still pulls it off. 39.546 is the 4-lap average. Sage Karam will be your pole sitter. Henry Bennett in the middle of the front row. Caleb Bensey on the outside of the front row.
What a drive by
drive.
Sage Karam. By all of these top 9 drivers, what an impressive order right there. Again, for 7 of those guys to say, hey, I beat Kyle Busch in qualifying, but then lost to Sage Karam, that's not too bad.
Yeah. That's bragging rights.
But yeah, incredible drive there by Sage Karam. Again, amazing on the ovals in real life, amazing here on iRacing, and Sage Karam puts that 2-car, on the pole for the Indy 500, presented by Richmar Florist.
Our action will begin, I believe, 7:30 next Friday night?
I believe so, yeah.
We've not been told otherwise, so we're assuming 7:30 next Friday night for 500 miles. We will have a couple of special guests. I believe Rob Howden and Nick Yeoman from IndyCar Radio will be joining us at some point during the evening. We may have a couple of other guests pop by during the evening, depending on how things go.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. So, if
Yeah.
if you guys enjoyed this qualifying, be prepared for 200 laps of this ridiculous close racing, close to the wall action, and a knife edge type driving here from these drivers. Impressive stuff here tonight to make it through qualifying. For all the drivers who made it, congratulations. The race, though, is next week, and your race prep begins right now.
Your first 3 rows will be Sage Karam, Henry Bennett, and Caleb Bensey on the front row. Adriano Pinheiro, Brian Blauman, and Eric Troiano in the middle of the second row. Chad Frankenfield, Kyle Busch, and Nick DeGroot make up the third row.
And with that, I think that's all from qualifying here tonight.
I'm assuming we're not going to be able to get Sage for a quick comment.
Let me take a look and see if we can possibly grab him.
Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Richmar Florists and C2 Freight Resources, your friendly neighborhood logistics folks. And of course, Richmar can handle all of your logistics needs when it comes to getting flowers delivered. A lot of flower occasions coming up over the next few weeks between Mother's Day next weekend. You've also got graduations coming up, weddings, Memorial Day, things like that. Richmar Florists can handle all of your floral logistics needs.
Waiting to hear back if we can get Sage Karam up here in the booth. No response quite yet there from our pole sitter or from Chad Frankenfield. Give it a few more seconds here, see if we get a response. Otherwise, might not be able to hear from him tonight, but may try to get a chance to speak with him next week for sure.
Hopefully we can maybe talk to him in the pre-race show.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go ahead and call it a night then, and let Sage enjoy his pole win tonight. That'll do it from the virtual version of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the world's greatest race course. And we will see you next Friday night for the Indianapolis 500 presented by Richmar Florists. For Rishab Khosla, I'm Mark Gillespie. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next Friday night.